So I wanted to come on here and talk about Babylon and what she means to me. Babylon, the holy whore and mother of abominations, is a prominent Thelemic goddess who stands beyond all laws, taboos, or imposed moralities. She is the embodiment of transgression itself. The radiant whore who opens the gates to freedom through desire, passion, and surrender. As the egregore of sexual liberation, she tears down the prisoned walls of purity, shame, and repression, inviting her children into the sacred act of union without boundary, without guilt, and without restraint. To worship Babylon is to embrace the wild ecstasy of the flesh as a sacrament, to know that the body is holy in all its hungers, and that every touch can be a revelation. She is antinomian in nature because she cannot be bound by law or custom. She is beyond any concept of good or evil, existing as the current that unravels false binaries. Her kiss is initiation itself, her embrace an ordeal of dissolution. Those who surrender to her do not remain as they were. She strips away all the masks of the ego, identity, and false sovereignty, dissolving them into the vast sea of her being. In her presence, the self dies, but what emerges is freedom, an unshackled spirit born anew, called Nemo, or No Man. As whore of heaven, Babylon sanctifies what the world calls profane, revealing that all acts of love and pleasure may be holy when offered to her. Prostitution in her mystery is not degradation but priesthood, a sacrament of flesh and spirit. Every kiss sold, every body shared, becomes an altar where desire is both prayer and offering. In her temple, consensual sex work is an act of devotion, a living liturgy of liberation. The sex worker becomes her priest and or priestess, anointed with the power of their own agency, embodying her freedom by choosing to give and receive on their own terms. Each transaction becomes a transgression against repression, every union an initiation into her mysteries. In the exchange of desire, Babylon is enthroned, lifting up the rejected and despised to the status of holy vessels. The whore is sacred precisely because she is despised by the world. She turns stigma into sacrament, oppression into liberation, and shame into ecstatic power. Her cup, the Holy Grail, is filled with the blood of the saints, not the blood of martyrs slain by tyrants, but the essence of those who have freely sacrificed the illusion of their separateness. Each drop is the offering of one who has poured out their selfhood, their pride, their name, their fear into her chalice. To drink from her cup is to partake of this communion of the liberated, to taste the bittersweet wine of ego death and enlightenment. Yet Babylon does not exist only as a vision of the spirit. She is made flesh in the Scarlet Woman, her symbolic avatar upon the earth. The Scarlet Woman is not one single figure, but a living representation of her divine current wherever it manifests. She is the vessel through which Babylon's power speaks and acts, the embodiment of her law in the world of form. To behold the Scarlet Woman is to recognize that the divine can be clothed in human flesh, that the eternal whore walks among us. Those who honor Babylon are her children and her emissaries. Living out her mysteries in the world, all are welcome beneath her banner, the exalted, the outcast, the pure, and the profane. For her law knows no exclusion, and her law is this: do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Babylon stands as the great counter-image to the Virgin Mary, not merely as another symbol, but as her absolute absolute antithesis. Mary has been enthroned by patriarchal religion as the eternal virgin, the passive vessel, the obedient servant to a masculine, phallic God. She is the cloistered mother, revered precisely because she is untouched, inviolate, and separated from passion. In her image, women are chained to chastity, silence, and obedience. She is the virgin used by empires and churches to sanctify submission. Her purity is a weapon against freedom. Babylon overturns this order. Where Mary is the emblem of obedience, Babylon is the fire of defiance. Where Mary represents purity controlled by men, Babylon embodies passion unleashed against them. Mary is the ideal of empire, the docile mother of subjects. Babylon is the whore of revolution, the mother of rebels. She sanctifies desire as resistance, pleasure as protest, and sex as the breaking of chains. To call Mary mother is to submit as a child, passive and dependent. To call Babylon mother is to embrace the profane. To revel in one's desire, to stand unashamed in nature and purpose. Her children are wild, unrestrained, and fearless. Yet they are not lost in chaos. She disciplines them and will, sharpening their nature into a weapon against repression. Her command is not obey, but become. She demands sovereignty, freedom, and the courage to live unbound. The only sin in her eyes is to betray one's own true will, to deny one's authentic nature in obedience to the chains of authority. Thus, the polarity of the virgin and whore are not merely theological but political. Mary is the archetype of empire, purity, obedience, and submission to external law. She is the symbol of the family as prison, the altar of state control over women, over bodies, over desire. Babylon is her negation, the living current of insurrection, rebellion against the imposed order, the sanctifier of pleasure and the liberator of the flesh. She is revolution itself, the goddess of uprising, who calls her children to overthrow all powers that enslave and stand together under her banner. Babylon is also the initiatrix who demands everything and in return gives the only gift worth receiving, the annihilation of all falsehood and the intoxication of absolute truth. She is the queen of heaven and of earth, mother of abominations, lover of all, destroyer of all illusions, and the whore who makes holy the act of rebellion. To adore her is to rise against the world as it is. To pour oneself into her cup is to be reborn as one who has become vast, free, and forever eternal. Thank you. In addendum, I would like to add a verse from the 3rd chapter of the book of the law, chapter 3, verse 44. And let her raise herself in pride. Let her follow me in my way. Let her work the work of wickedness. Let her kill her heart. Let her be loud and adulterous. Let her be covered with jewels and rich garments, and let her be shameless before all men. Then I will lift her to pinnacles of power. Then I will breed from her a child mightier than all the kings of the earth. I will fill her with joy, and with my force shall she see and strike at the worship of Nu. She shall achieve Hadit. With that, I say Ave Babylon, and good day. 93 and blessed be.